In one of the most alarming escalations yet in the South China Sea, the Philippines has accused China of deliberately ramming one of its ships near Thitu Island and using water cannons to drive it away. The confrontation happened on a tense Sunday morning when a Philippine government vessel, the BRP Datu Pagbuaya, was anchored near a Manila-controlled island as part of a mission to support local fishermen. According to Philippine officials, the Chinese Coast Guard approached aggressively, first firing powerful streams of water and then, minutes later, ramming the ship's stern. The impact caused minor structural damage, but thankfully, no crew members were injured. But for many observers, the symbolism was unmistakable. Beijing isn't backing down. Manila immediately condemned the act, calling it a clear threat from China and accusing Beijing of endangering lives and peace in one of the world's most contested waterways. This is not the first time such a clash has occurred, but it might be one of the most deliberate. China, however, tells a completely different story. Beijing insists that the Philippine vessels were the aggressors, accusing them of illegally entering Chinese waters and dangerously approaching a Chinese Coast Guard ship. In an official statement, China said its forces acted lawfully to protect national sovereignty, taking what it described as necessary control measures and driving the Filipino ships away. The truth, as always in these maritime standoffs, depends on which side you're listening to. What's undeniable is the pattern. Over the past year, incidents between Chinese and Philippine vessels have grown increasingly common, especially near key flashpoints like Second Thomas Shoal and Thitu Island. These encounters are part of a larger struggle for dominance in a region that sees more than $3 trillion worth of global trade each year. The South China Sea isn't just a stretch of ocean. It's one of the world's most vital arteries for commerce, energy, and strategic influence. Beijing claims almost the entire area under what it calls the 9-dash line, a sweeping boundary rejected by international law. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled that China's expansive claims had no legal basis, siding firmly with the Philippines. But nearly a decade later, China continues to ignore that verdict, building artificial islands, deploying naval patrols, and pressuring neighboring countries to accept its dominance. For smaller nations like the Philippines, every encounter with Chinese ships is a reminder of how vulnerable they are. Yet under President Bongbong Marcos has taken a much firmer stance, strengthening defense ties with the United States and other allies, and refusing to back down in these confrontations.